The Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 200.
Holy shit. We made
it. 200.
Yeah.
All right.
So, did we ever get the date on the first episode or not?
Oh, no. Did you want that?
No, well, I mean, now it doesn't matter.
We can kind of do the math, right? It was
you can kind of do the math.
Almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 4 years ago that we started this thing.
Yeah.
It was initially it was me, Jared, and Jared and I had talked about doing it for a little while. Mm-hmm. But it just kind of never really came to fruition.
Yeah.
But then
too much weed was involved.
Yeah. But then there was our buddy Jeff Siegel, who was like, he mentioned it a couple times, and it was probably like the third time that he mentioned it. He's like, "Come on, let's just do it."
Yeah.
So we were like, "Okay, well, we'll do it." And we met up at my old place on a Sunday night. I believe we were in the basement over there, and we did a podcast, and it was fun times, and we just did one every week since. Mm-hmm. And since then, Alexis Schlegel came on board, and then
you got Schlegelized,
and then Phil Dassing, you were just like listening to us, and then you were like, "Shit, these guys are local," and you hit me up, and we got you on, and you've been a regular. And then Dave, how did you hear about the podcast? Like Facebook?
Same thing as Phil.
So yeah, you were listening, and you were like, "Oh, these guys are local,"
Not a lot. I wasn't listening a lot.
Not a lot. Okay, thanks.
Well, I didn't even know about it. I just saw the page. I just saw the page. I was following it for a long time. And all of a sudden, one day, it went. You guys went live. I was like, "Wait a minute, they have a podcast?"
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, we probably should have done that sooner.
Yeah.
I don't know
no
if we
clue.
could, though.
Yeah,
I was listening to it, and then I started hearing you guys talking about Baltimore. I was like, "That's funny. They keep bringing up Baltimore."
Yeah,
and,
same here.
And I was like, "That's where I am."
And
that was pretty much it.
You actually saw my old band 10 Watch back in the day too. So
Yeah,
that's why they call it Smaltimore.
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, and I've heard a lot of punk bands, and there was very few that actually I saw, and I was like, I'd like to see them again. And I told you this before. I was like, I dug it hard, and I was looking for you guys for a couple of years after that on MySpace and stuff like that. But I was drunk the night I saw you guys.
Oh, and you didn't remember?
And I thought your name was Tin Metal. As opposed to 10 Watch.
10 Watch, yeah.
And still to this day, I tell people you're in Tin Metal.
Like that name is actually from a joke in Casablanca. So there's this couple, they're trying to go to America, and they want to fit in, so they're trying to earn the English language. So the husband asks the wife what time it is, and she's like, "Oh, it's 10 Watch instead of 10 o'clock." So that was the joke, hardy har har.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so thinking of a band name, I think my buddy Chris Lamartina might have even thought of it and said, "Oh, hey, you could do 10 Watch from that joke in Casablanca." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." As far as band names go, it's like band names are so fucking hard to think up, and you don't want to pick a bad one.
I think it all depends on the music, you know what I mean? Because you can have a really crappy band name, and as long as think about it right now, there's a band out there called Pears, just Pears.
Oh yeah.
And now it's like the band's so sick that the name,
Well, yeah, it's not like
around
it's not like
cool.
It's not like 10 Watch was the best name, but
right.
I just
it's
feel
very 90s skate punk.
I just feel like it's bland enough to where somebody's not going to have an opinion before they hear it. You know what I mean?
I would think 90s skate punk.
Okay.
They might be curious, like, I wonder what that means.
Like a little bi-curious, Jared?
Yeah. Or try-curious.
But episode 200.
Yeah, 200.
We still haven't found the date of the first podcast? I don't know.
But
I mean,
it was about 4 years ago. You get 52 weeks in a year. It's about 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, back in the old place.
Yeah.
Back at your old Anarchy basement.
Yeah, and then, by the way, one thing we're doing tonight for the first time, we found a new program that allows us to stream to not only Facebook, but YouTube, and Jared, we're going to Twitch as well?
Yeah, we're going to Twitch.
Okay.
We are on Twitch.
So we're going to stream live to all these places, so that'll hopefully get us seen by some more people. Also, I'd like to throw it out there. We do have the Patreon now, and we've had a bunch of people come over and help us pay for this operation. And that's been totally awesome. It's majorly appreciated, and those people also gain access to our after hours program, which we record right after this one.
Yep,
that's where we really go deep in the docs, right, Alex?
Oh hell yeah, we're gonna go deep in the docs tonight. We got some good topics.
We're gonna talk about the moon landing too.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Real quick, I found when the first
episode was posted.
Oh, okay.
It was the day before tax day, April 14th, 2015.
Wow, 2015.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, so obviously a few times along the way we had other episodes.
before my
So we've been doing more than one a week, I guess technically, but usually we do one a week. Plus, if you join the Patreon, you'll instantly gain access to. I think we have like 40 some Patreon posts on there.
Yeah,
40 some after hours episodes at this point. So you gain access to those. So yeah, if you could help us with that, that would be pretty awesome. And big props to all the people that help us out over on Patreon. That's just much appreciated.
Mad props.
Yeah. So here in Baltimore, and I guess it's along a lot of the East Coast. We're dealing with the polar vortex right now.
The polar vortex.
That shit sucked.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, we didn't get hit as hard as I think there was one place in Minnesota that was like negative 65 degrees. How the fuck do you stay alive at negative 65 degrees?
Layers.
Yeah, didn't somebody die, or was it a couple people?
18 or something. That's what I heard.
18 people have
18.
died.
I heard 8. He said 18. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
People stay inside, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Like one of the stories I heard, there was an anonymous individual that just bought up a bunch of hotel rooms for homeless individuals in Chicago.
Yeah, man.
Because I mean, Jesus Christ, I couldn't imagine like when it's that cold. If you're, I mean, just being homeless in like 30-degree weather, let alone like,
Sub-zero.
Yeah, below zero and wind chill. Like, Jesus, makes you appreciate like what you have. But I thought that was like pretty awesome story. Like, someone was like, hey, you know what? Let me just get a bunch of hotel rooms for a couple of days for, but yeah, it took place in Chicago. I don't know. I saw an article about that. That's pretty cool.
So like, I have to leave my water running at night. Are you guys doing that too?
So it doesn't freeze?
Yeah.
We should, because it froze last year, but
I forgot all about doing
I'm moving
that.
soon anyways.
It's well.
I probably should be doing that.
Well, check this out. Like on the main floor of my house, there's a bathroom in the back, and this house was built in like 1920. And then in the back, there's a like an add-on room, right? So in the add-on room, there's no basement underneath it. So in the add-on room's a bathroom, and so the plumbing actually goes like underneath the house, like outside. It's in a box that has some like insulation or something, but it's outside.
Yeah.
So it's like we found out the hard way last year. Once temperatures start to dip into like the 20s, we want to have that sink running. Because I believe the hot water pipes froze last year. Oof. Yeah, it's like, how the fuck does that happen?
It was so bad. My house, we had this house was built in this 1960 and had this awful raised concrete deck attached to it, which was like pulling away from the house. And so last year,
safe.
Like we after I tore it down, demolished it, it's still like some of the part where it was separating from the house, a pipe was exposed. And before I could fix it, it dipped down to like 16 degrees, something like that. So we woke up in the morning, and of course the sink was frozen. Everything in it. So I was trying to thaw it, and I turned on the garbage disposal, and I was like, "Oh, all the water's coming out." And all of a sudden, I look out the window, which is right in front of the sink, and water's just coming down from my roof. I'm like, "What? Like how that? What's going on?" And so I turn off the garbage disposal, and it stops doing it. So apparently what was going on, I had no clue. It was so good. I guess the motion of the water running through the garbage disposal was shooting it up through the vent pipe, like going out to my roof. And it was just coming out the water and dripping down, running down the side of my house. So I'm glad I got that fixed in time. But I have not had a, I think the low in Baltimore was like -6 over this past few days, and
it got down that low.
Yeah, it was real feel. No, real feel was -6.
Real feel.
Dude.
Yeah, especially at night, man. Getting up early, like it's my job, man. I get up like 4 a.m. It's fucking
yeah.
It's pretty brutal in the morning.
Did it freeze your ovaries?
Oh, what's that? Yeah, I mean it's fucking cold, but
no, it was.
Oh, but get this. So that morning it was -6. I go and I turn on my car, get it started, everything's working fine. I clear it off, just letting it run and then like for about 5-10 minutes, I come back out, and as I go to pull away, I see that my little symbol in the dashboard said that the tire was low in air. I was like, what? So I look out, and it's completely flat.
Oh, damn, dude.
I was like, God damn it. So I had to go out.
So wait, you weren't one of the USPS guys that got to like not have to go in?
Do what?
Oh, never. Yeah. So yeah, like some individual, like some companies, like allowing people not to come in. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think Phil.
I heard that the post office in like the Midwest,
Yeah.
they were like,
Completely shut down.
Don't come into work or something like that. But
Right.
Yeah.
FedEx didn't have that policy, and I think one of their people died
Jesus.
Oh
in
yeah.
one of the warehouses or something like that.
Yeah, they were
found-
like stuck between two trucks.
Jesus.
That's like one
Christ.
thing I think about, like when you get weather like this, which whatever, a couple days here and there, it's like whatever, you deal with it. No big deal. Like, but it's one thing that deters me from looking into moving to New Hampshire. Like, I'd always, like, live free or die. Move up there with the Free State Project.
Put on
but
a jacket
one
for
thing,
freedom.
Well,
right. But like at the same token, it's like, yeah, cool. Like PorkFest is awesome, but it's in June. And even like in June, I remember like the one year I went, like at night, it got down to like 32 degrees. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck? I mean, like I've gone camping, like I've done it many a times, like, and it's like, all right, cool.
You just
You're
go
up
to
north,
Montana.
like it's cold.
that's where
But I'm
trying
just
to move.
thinking, like, if it gets down to like 32 degrees in June, like end of June, like how fucking cold does it get up here in like the dead of February? And I remember, like, I don't know, I guess it was like couple PorkFests ago, I went up and I visited my cousin up in Vermont, like before I stopped by PorkFest, and my cousin was like, "Oh yeah, like in Vermont, like February, we didn't even get out of like the single digits." And I'm like, Jesus, man, like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's absurd.
I was much as like I don't know. I think I'd have to go up there in February and just see, like, could I handle a week, let
Are they
alone
still
like
doing
months of that?
the Blue Ridge or whatever? The Blue Ridge, the one in North Carolina.
Oh, Chase Rachel's project.
That was
Oh.
Chase
Are you
Rachel's.
interested about that one, Jared?
I didn't know that was Chase Rachel's.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know
Did
that.
you hear about his dad was trashing him on Facebook?
His dad?
Yeah.
wow, I did
Chase
not hear
Rachel's
about
dad
that.
was like, someone screenshotted one of his posts. He was talking about something, and his dad commented on it and said, "What the fuck are you ranting about now?"
Yeah, like I don't think
his dad was giving him shit.
I don't think I could do.
Is his dad also a white supremacist?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I could do. I could do like the Smoky Mountains. That's nice down there, but New Hampshire
Yeah.
in
But
winter,
the problem,
they do
though-
the Liberty Forum. It's always in February, so I can't do it this year. But I'm thinking maybe next year, going up there, just seeing like
Can you handle
go
it?
up there.
No,
yeah.
think about it though. You got
I guess
Can
you get used
Schlegel-
to it.
Can the Schlegel withstand?
I mean, I guess you get used to it, but
Dude.
still, like,
Dude,
I
I
don't
could
know,
never
though.
get used to that. I've been living in Baltimore my whole life, and I still am not used to these winters. Fuck this shit.
I don't know. Like, if I was like financially set, like I could see like it would be baller to like live in New Hampshire half the year and
Sure.
someplace like Florida the other half. That would be pretty
fuck
awesome. I
Florida.
think.
That'd be fucking cool.
But
Florida's
I'm
where
saying
all the crazy
a
people go.
warmer
Yeah.
place during the
It's
colder
fucking
months.
muggy as shit. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But I think,
Arizona.
I think a lot of thing you guys are missing is that we're like coming through this like in the Mid-Atlantic eyes, because most people up there, their infrastructure, their highways, their way of life, the people up there are prepared for cold. Like, so
Yeah,
what you're
that's
dealing
true.
with here is you're dealing with people who are like coming from other parts of the country, like where it's not, especially around like Washington area,
Yeah.
and they're not familiar with the cold, so they act like complete idiots, and our infrastructure isn't well. I don't think it could suit year round or
Dude, that was
or like 6 or 8 months of cold weather.
nah.
Dude, I went to New Orleans. I think it was 2 years ago, and they had the coldest winter they ever had, which was like it got down to like 30 degrees or something.
Jesus.
Right? But like their like roads like froze over, and like people were getting into accidents and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like I went into they don't have heaters. They don't have heaters in their buildings.
Oh yeah.
Like they don't have heating. They just have AC. And so like
so
you would go into a
crazy.
bar and you'd have to wear your coat. Like you have to wear your like fucking bundle up to go into these bars. It was fucking nuts.
But yeah, so I follow a bunch of places in Montana where I'm trying to move, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's just another 3 feet of snow today. Who cares? Whatever. We make do. We got shipments in. Come down to our shop. We come down to the brewery. We got everything's going on.
Remember like Snowmageddon back in 2012?
Oh,
we got
yeah.
those 2 snowstorms.
That was insane.
But I just
awesome,
remember,
bro.
and I tried to look it up on Lou Rockwell's archives, but I remember reading an article about it, and it was so on point, and it just talked about like when weather like this hits, and when you get we got back-to-back snowstorms of like 2 feet plus within a span of a week, but the article was about this neighborhood in Baltimore. Long story short, Mount Vernon, we're all well aware of it, but it's uber liberal neighborhood. But
Pretty gay.
Yeah, it's the neighborhood. It's the neighborhood. It's the neighborhood. It's like the theater district.
I like Mount Vernon though. They got a lot of good
I like that
shops,
neighborhood.
though. They got a lot of good like restaurants. And
Oh
shit.
yeah. You walk around. It's a great neighborhood,
nice.
but like to live there, super expensive, super liberal, progressive, etc. But
Yeah.
the article was
Bernie
basically
voters.
when the weather, when you get snow like that, that's when like the true nature of like humanity comes out, and it's like, and he broke it down like percentage wise. You know what I mean? Because he's like. And I forget who the guy wrote the article. He must be some libertarian from around here because he basically like based on his observations, or maybe he was just passing through and based on his observations of the neighborhood. But he like, oh yeah, everybody's got Obama stickers and take like, oh, all this hippy dippy fucking bullshit. And but at the end of the day, he's just like, all right, when the snowstorm, 2 back-to-back snowstorms hit, and then he described the neighborhood. We're talking row homes, very little parking. Motherfuckers like digging out their house, like their parking spot, and then putting like a lawn chair, like don't fucking take my spot because I spent 8 fucking hours digging this shit out. And so he talked about that, and he's like, he broke down the percentages, and he kind of like equated it to like basically how all of us as individuals and natural order kind of takes place. But he's like, you might have that like. That unicorn in the neighborhood, that like small percentage, like less than 10%, that has a snow plow and a snow blower that fucking just does the whole entire block and digs everybody out.
Yeah.
And it's like and then you get the other person
I had a
that
neighbor like that.
Yeah, then you got the small percentage that just like, I'll clean off my area and maybe I'll shovel off my neighbor. And then you get a bunch that are just like
The dude that just stays in his house until it fucking
yeah,
melts.
exactly, till it melts.
like fucking.
And then you got like the vast majority. He's like basically the vast majority are like
take care of my own
don't
shit.
do anything, or they'll like shovel out their shit while simultaneously throwing their shit. Like,
Onto
hey,
somebody else's
asshole!
shit.
I just dug out my car, and you're throwing your shit onto my shit, and then you get the vast majority.
Cross shimination.
Yeah. And then you
I-
get the larger.
You also
percentage.
have the neighbor, right? I was out there. I was shoveling one time, and my neighbor was 70 years old. He like looks over. He goes, "Dave, do you know anybody that I could pay to shovel the walk?" I was like, "Nope." I'm like, dude, he was like, "I'm just so old," and I'm like, "You're not that fucking old, dude. You're 70 years old. Like, get a shovel."
That's
pretty old,
dude,
man.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not. That's not 70-year-old is like the new 50. Come on.
I mean,
That is true, unless you.
You're not-
if
I
you
mean,
took
look,
care of
my
yourself.
my dad's that age, and like he still shovels his shit,
Oh, yeah.
but he's like, I think he's
My
a
dad's
special case
73.
though, because like you see most 70, I don't know,
Dude, baby boomers. There's so many
Yeah.
baby boomers that are in rough shape
They're
for
in
their
rough
age.
shape.
No, but like
Because
but
they-
that doesn't mean you need to help them.
my neighbor, she's like 85. She lives across the street, and she's like a psychopath. She's out there in the middle of the snowstorm, shoveling snow in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
and then
Badass.
she's out there like blowing leaves while the wind's blowing more leaves from the tree on her grass. So I wonder, she's out there last year. She's out there shoveling. She's on her roof shoveling snow off her roof. She's like, well, it's got to come off somehow.
Jesus.
Like
What do
standing
you-
on her
yes,
roof.
on her roof, shoveling snow off her
She's
roof.
a
I'm like,
badass.
dude,
She's
go-
nuts and she's insane. And then you go to help her. She's like, no, I don't need any help. And I saw her one time fighting with her granddaughter because her granddaughter was trying to cut the grass for her. And they were out there like a standoff, both holding the lawnmower, and they're yelling at each other. And I'm like, holy shit, this one's stubborn broad.
But it was just like the whole like bringing up that article, and I could never find it, but I remember like reading it like years ago, and it's so on point because it's basically the vast majority of people want someone else to do it. They don't want to take responsibility, let alone do the extra step of like taking care of their community, and it reflects on the neighborhood. It's just like yeah, there's a bunch of fucking oh well, I think someone else should do it, but when it comes to actually taking personal responsibility and taking when things like that happen, you see like those same individuals are like, oh, it takes a village, and we gotta look out. We gotta look out for each other. But when
people
shit
coming
hits
to
the fan, there's only a small minority of individuals that actually take ownership and personal responsibility that get shit done. And I was like, oh man, that's such a great analogy. Like that's such a great just a hands-on like experience,
yeah.
a metaphor, and it's like wow, like. But I could never find the article. Like I tried to look on his archives or try to look it up. I don't know, but maybe anybody listening in knows what I'm talking about.
Well, it's like New York City
Okay.
after 9/11, right? 9/11 happened. There was a big crisis, right? So it's like when you have an emergency, people come together as a community, that kind of stuff. You know
This
what I
was
mean?
like kind of
And
the
so-
opposite though.
And
right?
everyone buys car flags.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I still see people with car flags. It's fucking crazy.
Dude, anyways. But hey, we talked about the heavy hitting topics here on PRL. We're talking about the weather.
Yeah, dude.
The weather.
The weather outside is weather.
Okay, so on to topic number 1.
Topic 1.
20 minutes deep. So yeah,
balls deep.
so there's a Virginia governor who's said some fucked up shit recently.
Yeah,
Correct?
Ralph Northam. He got elected in 2017, and so apparently there was this bill in New York City, or I'm sorry, New York State that got passed where allows abortions up to full term, and like in the third trimester, everything. So,
dude, they applauded it. It was disgusting. It was like very.
Oh, and then the New York the New World Trade Center lit up pink to celebrate them passing this law.
Yeah, like the tower, like the antenna was all lit up with pink, and it was like, Jesus Christ, like, wow, this is such a dude. It was scary. Like they were applauding it, like, this is great. We can literally kill a kid up to like right before they're about to be born.
Well, so then this triggered a new legislative initiative going on in Virginia.
Dude, Virginia's getting super progressive.
It is, yeah. It's all the Northern Virginia part.
Yeah,
right around.
The DC Beltway, like District of Criminal, like it's just festering into other parts of Virginia.
So there's a video that came out in an interview he just had about talking about, because he's a pediatric neurosurgeon or something like that, and so he's a doctor, and he was saying on this interview, and like, the video's out there, don't take my word for it, you listen to him and say these words. He's talking about the bill that's being introduced and about what he liked to see out of it and like what to expect, and he was like, literally goes on and says, if when the baby is born, you have a discussion with the mother and we can resuscitate it if need be, and it can just be a discussion between the mother and doctor. So they're saying that after the baby's born, you can then kill it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, they say resuscitate it.
No,
you just said resuscitate.
Yeah,
what does that
mean?
So he's talking about a healthy baby, full-term baby, and a healthy mother. And he was saying that
if it's healthy and it's fine, there's no need
because if
to
they're letting
resuscitate
it die, then they'll go into recuperating it back to life. So in the interview, I'm telling you, watch the video, and you clearly, and I've listened to it so many times.
Let's find the doc.
I've listened to it so many times, and I'm just like, I'm trying to maybe he's not saying the right. No, like he's talking about this is the type of abortion where it's more extreme because partial birth, anything in the third trimester is like partial birth. They have to you deliver the baby, it's dead because they killed it, So that's essentially what third trimester abortions are. Well, his thing was, you have the baby and then make a decision whether or not you want to keep it. And they can do that in moments after birth. And so this is where he goes.
The whole resuscitate thing is what throws me off. Does that mean the baby has complications?
No, he's not.
Resuscitate
he's
it?
Talking about letting it sit there and die.
Alex, are you looking it up?
Yeah. So he's like, there's a video here. Virginia governor isn't backing down from his comments defending third trimester abortion. So I mean, I guess it's like a 3-minute. Well,
it's literally
it was like an interview.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh shit, it's loud. My bad. But we could
put it in the mic, man, so you can listen to it.
So I should probably just do that on this fucking app, but. Really
no, we could. I could. Here, I'll copy it.
So if anyone wants to hear
it.
this, I don't know. Maybe I didn't hear it right, but I heard the clip that was presented to me that I listened to, and I'm still dumbfounded at what he's saying. So if you guys want to correct me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. It's still
I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? But this guy's gonna be out of office in like a month anyway.
Well, because of something. So I guess this triggered then a lot of people like me after hearing this. So of course, the internet goes digging. And they found a medical, I guess, yearbook from what year did you guys say? 1982, 84?
84.
84. And it's a picture of him in the yearbook and his name and everything, Ralph Northam. And right next to it is a picture of what appears to be some type of, I presume, a Halloween party where there's a man standing there in like the darkest blackface you could see next to a guy dressed up as a Klansman.
It looks like that experimental black that they came up with that just actually sucks in light. Like that's how black he made it.
Yeah. It was very black.
Like, dude,
you just go blind by looking at it.
Yeah. So the internet found that and they released that. And so then he came out and he apologizes. He said, "I'm sorry for this incident," in a video. And then he comes out and makes a...
But he didn't apologize which one.
Yeah, he never said which one he was.
I don't know know if I'm the blackface or if I'm the Klansman.
You think you might?
I don't
I
know.
feel like, dude, I feel like I
still-
remember every costume that I
We're still trying. Like, he basically was like, at that moment, like his press secretary or the fucking fucksticks that surround him are basically trying to like salvage his political career. Like, I apologize, but I'm not gonna like, dude. It doesn't matter which you're fucking done. Like, you're done. Just go away already.
So he didn't. So he never admits who he was in the picture, but he's kind of acknowledging the fact that he's in the picture and he's apologizing for it.
Well, I mean, it's not like he was wearing
His
a MAGA.
1984
It's not like he was wearing a MAGA hat.
I know, right? That would be way worse.
Yeah, his photograph from a 1984 medical school yearbook page showing a person dressed as a member of the Ku Klux Klan and another wearing a blackface. So either way, this picture, it's terrible.
And then
Either
think
way.
about it. Think before this picture came out, during this week, there was an article that came out talking about how what's her face who starred in Mary Poppins. What's her name?
Julia Andrews.
Julia Andrews.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt?
So she, the article says that she flirted with blackface in the movie Mary Poppins when they were chimney sweeping. Remember they all had Dick Van Dyke?
Jesus,
They
titty
said that
fucking
was
Christ.
flirting with blackface.
Wow.
There was an actual article. You guys can look it up, search it up. It's an actual article that was printed by someone being serious.
Wow.
So this came out before this picture came out. So you already know this is a very sensitive subject, especially this week. So this picture comes out, and then he makes a written apology for it after the video he put out. So assuming, and then all of a sudden, a few hours later today, he says, "Oh, that wasn't me in the picture." He said, "I was apologizing for when apparently he did a dance as Michael Jackson where he darkened his skin a little bit." That's what he's now saying.
But the picture, like
some background.
I know.
yeah.
That was the one that was all over CNN, right?
Yeah, and then here's the thing on CNN too, which is like they when they were when I guess his press conference, they put an R instead of a D.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Republican governor.
Yeah.
And then like the whole thing is like there's tweets out there when he got elected like,
Oh,
this is
can
great.
I read it? Can I read? I want to read.
Oh
the,
yeah.
So-
Tweets that don't age well.
Yep, I posted this from the podcast. It said it's a picture of Kamala Harris's tweet from November 7th, 2017. She posts, "Congratulations to Ralph Northam and his team for showing that Virginia won't stand for hatred and bigotry."
Oh my god.
So now she's actually called him, all the people that are running for president now have all come out and told him he needs to step down.
Yeah.
Because what did he do? Like, not for the fact he says we should kill babies that
babies.
are an actual
third
baby.
trimester.
But no, because he darkened his face allegedly. Like, this is crazy. It's a crazy world, man. And
Dude, I mean, it's.
would you guys like?
Jesus.
There's also an element that thinks, I don't know. I guess it's a conspiracy theory person. I mean, that thinks that this was put out there to distract from the video that he made earlier this week about killing babies.
It honestly could be, because it seems like that they're really pushing that agenda. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, just with that New York, that was sickening seeing that with
Yeah.
the whole New York Assembly and cheering it when it was signed into law, and Governor Cuomo
dead babies,
signing it, and all of them like.
But see, the way they
smiling.
framed it was like, you can do it in the third trimester or whatever if it's a danger to the mother.
Mental health. They said mental. It's all bullshit. They said if it
I'm
can
just
affect
saying-
their mental health.
I'm just saying
I
the
just
way
think
the way they try to frame it is that it's
But it's
so if you're a pro-choice person, like a normal pro-choice person, when you hear this, you're going to be like, well, yeah, they're just looking out for the health of the mother.
More and
Yeah,
more,
but
I think
that's
they're
already-
pushing the envelope. They're pushing the envelope even more. And like I don't know. Like I guess maybe I don't know what the libertarian stance is on this. I don't know.
I can
There
tell
is-
you what
there
the,
is
I can
not
tell you the
one.
party.
I don't think it's a confliction, because I think
Party is pro-choice. That's the platform.
See, well, okay, so I think maybe personally, I'm
Well,
pro-life.
I mean,
but also at the same token, like pro-choice. But I don't want my fucking tax dollars along with war, corporate cronyism.
Isn't
you know
that
what I mean?
like the
I
bare
don't want
minimum?
my tax dollars going to anything I morally disagree with. But at the end of the day, like I think that's where it comes down, and that should be. I don't like. That's the thing. I'm not saying like this should be the libertarian stance, but I think we should fall on the side of life. You got to preserve liberty at like, and at the same
Life,
token, like
liberty,
I
and
don't
property,
think
man.
any government funding should go to these organizations like Planned Parenthood and all these like because that's
government
part
should
of
be
it.
financing anything.
They should
especially,
be
like,
financing anything,
pro-life
let alone-
or pro-choice shit.
Exactly. And you know, you look at it, and there is a hypocrisy.
Let's
because,
think.
like,
Let's say in Ancapistan, right?
in Ancapistan,
You could, there would be better ways to deal with this sort of issue, right? So if you live in a certain community and your community decides that, life starts at conception, well, you can ostracize anybody that doesn't abide by that. Anybody that goes out and has an abortion.
But what if in Ancapistan, the community next door to yours was killing babies? Like they were just killing babies. Like the babies were born 2 weeks old and they were just like slitting their throats.
2
I think
weeks
that's
old?
like
Yeah,
I don't
like
know,
2
that's
weeks
kind
out of the womb.
That's kind of
I
But it's
mean-
not. I mean, it's
Well,
because if you think about it.
Well, okay, fair enough. You could act in defense of those children.
But if you believe, okay, because here's an example.
That's where the problem. That's where the whole problem with abortion comes in. Is there is no. I mean, as much as you want to pretend like there's some, that there's some definite point that everybody can agree on when life ought to begin, or human life ought to begin, we should say. There isn't. That's the problem. The whole debate just comes down to a.
There is a point.
No, there isn't, dude.
There's this whole science behind fetology.
Yeah, but the science wouldn't agree with you per se.
Yeah, it does.
It depends on how you interpret the science.
The science says that when
dude, we're gonna get into science.
There
on
is
the
no.
moon landing
There is
after
no.
hours.
It's a philosophical question. It's a philosophical question, based on science, but it's a philosophical question because we're talking about qualifications of human life. We're
Okay.
talking about where does it actually become a human? Like we don't say it becomes a human when it's a
all right,
sperm
cool.
swimming around in your ball sack.
Jared,
Because it
I'm gonna like
hasn't fertilized
squash
an
this
egg.
shit real quick. All right, so
Squash
you
my
have
shit.
NASA. You have NASA. This might be you got NASA spending millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, searching for life on other planets or other
Yeah, but
fucking
that's-
solar systems. Here's what I'm getting at: looking for cells, right? So cells is like the basic like.
But that hold on, but I've
what I'm
seen
getting
this.
at,
I've
that's
seen this
life.
meme
So
from a
they're
Christian website before, dude. Like I've seen this fucking
What I'm
meme.
getting at.
I know
is,
what you're
like,
getting at.
they're
It's fucking
finding, like,
dumb.
oh, we found some single fucking cell organism on some far off fucking
Yeah, it's
solar
life,
system,
but it's not a human life.
But we're spending billions
Jared,
of dollars
he's talking
on
about
that.
science.
Meanwhile,
Quiet.
Meanwhile,
Well,
like,
okay, wait,
third
wait.
trimester, there's definitely life within the womb.
Dude,
Alex,
that is a
Jared,
misdirection.
Everyone stop yelling.
I'm just saying. Oh yeah, Dave,
Hold on, that's a,
intervene.
okay.
But
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I can't
I'm just saying,
deal with
I don't
it.
think
there's a difference
should be
between
much
life.
of a debate.
There's a debate. There's a debate between there's a difference between life and a human life and a sentient life.
there is.
Right? When you step on an ant, that's a life, right?
okay.
The ant
But-
is alive, but we're not going to start throwing people in jail for stepping on ant lives.
Okay,
Ant lives don't matter.
Fair point.
Ant
Very
lives do
fair.
not matter.
ant lives do not matter.
But they do kind of, because if the
Especially when
ants
they
all
come in your
disappear,
kitchen,
the
like,
fucking
you know,
ecosystem
in
will
the
get thrown out
spring.
of balance.
But the whole I don't know. I
The
guess
question
what
is,
I'm
when
getting
does
at-
human life begin?
Conception.
Yeah, but that's not
See,
a.
that's the only generally because everything else is arbitrary.
I guess my mindset,
anything else is completely arbitrary.
and this goes back.
But that's
to,
as arbitrary as anything else.
Not really. I mean, it's when a human form.
But this
creates.
goes.
But it's not what makes it a human form. Just the fact that it has a sperm and an egg involved.
I think
Yeah, it's been
we'll.
fertilized. It's a fertilized thing. It's now
Okay.
become.
Okay. Is a
human-
chicken? Is an egg a chicken? When you
It's
eat
it's a difference.
When you eat an egg,
well,
are
that's
you
a
eating
chicken's
a chicken?
period. That's a chicken's period. That's not
Okay.
been fertilized.
Okay, so
it hasn't been fertilized.
So
yeah.
I think what this conversation proves to me is that libertarians are just
That
as
Jared's
divided.
wrong. That's what
No, that libertarians.
I'm not even saying I disagree with you.
No,
Look, hold on. I'm not even
I'm
saying
just
I
saying
disagree. I'm just saying
libertarians
it's
are
not
just as
solid.
divided on abortion as everybody else.
Yeah, I would agree so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It
goes
doesn't
back
help.
to like when I was in Catholic high school, and this was kind of I don't know.
Did you get
looking
did
back,
you get diddled by a priest?
I did not.
Did you
I
get
was, I got out. Of
impregnated
I got.
by a priest?
I got more diddled by the TSA than I did a priest.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So, yeah, I grew up more than the TSA than by my years in Catholic school. But anyways,
Yeah, I detected a hint of regret when you said that.
A little bit. Like, what the fuck? I wasn't good enough for these guys.
Were you like sitting in the corner?
Well, we talked about this before, but the guy who
Like,
did
why won't he diddle
the
me?
show, the
Dude,
Keepers or
none of
whatever.
the priests at your school were chubby chasers. You're saying?
dude, that show.
Hey. I wasn't fat then, all right?
I was gonna say.
So there was
Maybe I should have been. Maybe.
There was
Yeah,
this,
maybe they would have been into that.
My
there was
sweet
this
little
class.
ass.
We're cushion for the
Walking
pushing.
down the hallway.
Oh man.
No, but there was this class. There was this class my senior year, and it was kind of fucked up because it was called apologetics. And it was basically defending the Catholic faith over like other Christianity, Judaism. Like we're like we Catholics are superior
Jared.
to you Jews. Like basically
Yeah,
that's what I
Jared.
gathered from like this class was like basically like this is why Catholics are superior to other forms of religion.
I never got that.
And I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like basically, but it was like basically if you get in in a hypothetical debate with someone like defending your religion, like this is why Catholics are superior to Judaism, to Islam, to various other forms of Christianity. But the whole thing is like then it came to abortion, and the whole topic was abortion, and I just thought it was like, and I called out the priest who was teaching the class, and I really respected him as far as like teaching, like not teaching the class, but just as a human being. But the whole thing was like, I came at it as like I don't know, I was maybe 17 or 18 in this class. And I said the whole issue with abortion, I think why so many people are fired up on both sides is the fact that one side thinks it should be funded and the other side morally disagrees with it and doesn't want it funded. So I basically came up with like, I was like, what if it wasn't in the hands of government? Like there's no funding for this. I think this issue would just go away and it wouldn't be so prominent. And it wouldn't be where these... where it wouldn't be such a contentious issue. It would just go away.
You want to control women's bodies.
Women's
no,
bodies,
I don't.
Dude.
But
See, that's where.
But
you and your Republicans.
But that's the thing.
In my opinion, it's the most dishonest.
It's like no, that's your responsibility.
Debate.
That's your responsibility. At the same token, that's the thing. Feminists or women would be like, you just want to control women's bodies. But at the same token, I fucking don't want tax dollars going to fucking erection pills. Because if you're on Medicare, Medicaid, all that, you could get fucking your dick
get
pills
hard
because you can't, or if you're in the military, case in point, like when I was in the Air Force, like you could fucking get like.
Are you chopping down dick pills, dude?
No, but you get all that money. You get tax dollars are going to pay for fucking, like on both sides of the fence. So it's like just eliminate that, where tax dollars aren't going to any of that,
or nothing,
or nothing.
Right?
Because taxation is theft. Because we can all agree
Kyle.
on that as libertarians. It's fucking theft.
Yeah,
so
Kyle.
So take the argument.
Kyle
to a
just
higher
messaged.
level.
He says he agrees.
And I don't think.
So I think like a lot of
Shout outs to K-Wag.
Kyle's on his trip. He just says a shiver goes down his spine like,
So like I
something's
can't.
not right.
His spider sense.
Yeah, his
ears
senses
perked up.
went off.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's like, all right, cool. Like you want to murder your baby, that's cool, but do it.
I
on
just
your,
don't
do
wanna-
it with your own money.
I look at the
Don't
same
do,
thing
do it
with
with your own
war.
money. I shouldn't. Exactly.
It's awful. You shouldn't be doing it, and I don't want to pay for it.
No, like it's not cool.
It's not.
It's
not cool.
It's not cool. But at what point can you
You
really?
ain't cool till you kill your baby.
I mean, here's the thing. So, like, when we look at Phil, hold on. Somebody just brought up a good point, though. Or actually, you just brought up your own point back to what you were talking about before, where it's like, all right, the community over here is doing this. Well, we see that when we see, in Venezuela, we have a dictator, right? And he's doing a whole bunch of terrible shit to his people. But we don't want to interfere with that, right? We don't want to intervene because that just creates more of a mess.
Well, yeah.
It's up to.
Eventually it'll collapse on itself.
Well,
If
right.
you're killing all your future citizens.
Exactly. That's why. Yes, you're like, well, we should. I feel bad for what's happening over there, but at the same time, you're like, pragmatically speaking, and just ethically speaking, because it'll just the cost will be more than what you would get if you went over and invaded and were like, well, let's just kill everybody that's
not
aborting
necessarily, but that's not like say there was a law that came out just today that said no longer have taxpayer abortions. No one has to pay for it, and we're closing down any clinic that has, or any doctor. We're gonna investigate any doctor who's, because they're pretty much like a bunch of serial killers. Like, if you ask me, like abortion doctors, like, think about it. Like, if they specialize in just killing kids, like, what? How do you? I just even if
Well,
like,
okay. Let me ask you this: is your outrage about the abortion thing, right? Let's just forget first trimester, second trimester, okay, or let's go to third trimester, right? Basically, the baby is a baby before it's born, and even after, right? Is the outrage because it can happen and by law it can happen, or is it the fact that it does happen?
the fact that it does,
like,
happen,
because okay, so
the fact that there's people out there who would, especially in the third trimester, it's like the later pregnancy goes, the more
offended you get, the more triggered you get.
Yeah,
right.
But
so they have the ability. But do you are you aware of any of the stats of how many there have been with like no threat to the mother, like the baby is perfectly healthy. Like, do you know what those stats are?
I've heard the number, but the numbers always run together when I have to sit down. Like I've
Right.
heard somewhere between like 14,000 or something like that. Third trimester abortions last year. Something. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I've heard the stats before. I just I take.
Well,
more,
the reason I ask is because it's I read one thing that was like a woman that was like performing abortions. She was a OBGYN or something like that, whatever. And she was doing abortions, and she said she had never done one in X amount of years. And she put out like this big long Twitter thread, multiple messages or whatever. And over the course of it, she's basically saying, I've never done one that wasn't completely necessary. And basically doing that was removing having to go through the government to be able to do it.
But was
basically
okay, so
between
like her
the
reasoning?
doctor.
Her reasoning was it like what? Like it was going to kill like the mother or the baby would die?
Yeah.
Like would kill
the mother. The baby was going to die, or the baby was not going to survive and would be dead by the time they gave birth, or like would die in the womb. Like if that's the case, can you go in and take it out, or is that still an abortion?
I think if it's going to kill the mother, then you kind of have an obligation to save the mother. If it's going to kill the mother. But I feel like if the baby's going to die and there's a chance that it might live still, you should have the baby and give it a chance to fight.
So who makes that call?
The parents.
Right, the parents. But if you make it into a law...
Are you going to really judge that person if they're like... this could endanger my health, it's probably going to die.
No, if it's okay, so there's cases, there's not many. Let's talk about it. There's not many.
There's not
many cases, especially because everyone likes to throw out the whole rape and incest thing. We're like, oh, I get, like, that's not a lot. I've heard statistically, I don't have the numbers, but it's not a lot. But anyway, back to what you were talking about before. If it's gonna kill the mother, and they're like, yeah, no, you were going to die. Like, there's like you're gonna die, and your baby's probably gonna die too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at no point is that at all ethically wrong. It's heartbreaking.
Right. Okay. Now, what about 90% you're gonna die? There's a 90% chance you're gonna die. Where's the line?
Yeah,
80%.
I say anything.
70%.
I say anything under 50.
Anything under? Who makes that determination? I'm just saying it's kind of funny from like if you look at it from a standpoint where you don't want government regulation at all in anything, right? So how do you? And you don't want the justice system, correct?
Not this justice system,
right? But I'm just saying, like,
it's shaving right next to me.
Yeah, but like, who determines it? You know what I mean?
No,
you know
okay.
But, and how would you do this in Ancapistan, right? Okay. There's no law enforcement. There's only private police force. How would you enforce that?
I feel like what circumstances are like, childbirth itself is having a child itself could kill you.
Yeah,
I'm talking about adding that whole. There's plenty of circumstances where they're like, okay, your child is in a certain spot. They're not going to be like, well, you got a 20% chance you might die.
Well, let's say you have a court system that says that, all right, that's okay. How do you prove that? The doctor has to come in. But these are doctors that are already committing abortions, right? Can you trust them?
And they're doctors on your payroll.
Yeah. How do you, this just gets really messy.
It doesn't
Don't
really,
you think?
I mean, no. I think, because I think you're really obfuscating the point where most people who have abortions are simply like, well, I can't, not in a place right now to have a kid. Mm-hmm. You guys are talking about the hypothetical 1% of abortions or whatever minute amount of percentage of abortions where it's medically necessary. And if it's medically necessary, if a doctor who's saying like, look, you could die and your baby's going to die too, I mean, yeah, you take your medical advice at that point. Now, if there's fraud involved where the woman, they're just saying that just to get an abortion, just getting like an abortion script like you would for like, oh yeah, doc, my back hurts. Oh, here you go, have some medical marijuana, that type of thing. That's, investigate whatever. Private investigation, boards, private medical boards investigate that, determine whether that they're being honest or unscrupulous or whatever. Anything. I think that everyone gets caught up in the hypotheticals, but they really don't look at the statistics, and I don't have the numbers to back it up. I've seen the numbers plenty of times, but that's not the majority of abortions. The majority of abortions are like
bring the docs
first to second trimester, and it's usually saying I'm not ready to have a child, it's going to ruin my life, it's this and that, those type of reasons, personal reasons, not medical reasons. And I think having it being on the table provides an option where people can just, oh, well, whatever, I don't care. I could do it. I don't have to pay for my own mistakes. I don't have to have a sense of responsibility for my actions. And I think that in itself encourages people to like a moral hazard. It presents them.
Well, I'm going to cut in here, and I think we're ready to go to topic 2.
No pun intended.
And then also, I've brought 2 extra cookies down if anybody wants.
You're just trying to pacify me with food. You're like, all right, some shut about abortion. Feed him a cookie.
Phil, you've had enough.
Get a cookie, man.
No,
Yeah,
so
cookies.
At any rate, okay, so we're going to go to topic number 2. What's topic number 2?
Dang, dude, I just looked up a website with all these abortion statistics.
All right.
We should,
okay.
we should probably
Sorry, go on.
abortion.
But
Maybe
afterwards,
you can post it in the comments if you like.
No.
Yeah,
All right,
I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
Show me your
okay,
Planned
well-
Parenthood stats.
All right,
later,
all right. So what's topic number 2?
So Baltimore. Go ahead, Joe.
As that cookie.
So Baltimore State's Attorney, Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, just came out last week stating that she will not. They will not prosecute any marijuana possession charges, whether that be, you got your little one hitter, or you got a whole trunk, or a truckload. Well, I don't know.
Well, hold on. No.
But
Possession with intent to distribute is still illegal.
oh, okay. So basically, but they.
So if you have a truckload of weed, you're gonna get into some trouble, dude.
Oh damn! I was about to open up shop.
No, it's basically like
I got you. Oh, it's not.
it's basically just
God damn
possession,
it.
like
Just
an
minor.
ounce.
You just seem
You
so
know.
genuinely
but at the same
surprised.
token, but that was already I think a couple years ago in Maryland, they basically were like, if you have like under 4 ounces.
No, I think it was only 10 grams.
10 grams. Okay,
Yeah.
so now what? So
nothing, man.
What's the arbitrary?
I don't know.
Long
But it just
story-
sounds like they're not going to be focusing on it unless you're
Yeah.
like a dealer.
Yeah. So fuck. Well, there goes my side hustle. But anyways, there goes my potential side hustle. But yeah. But I mean, that's a step in the right direction. I think they realize that the drug war is a complete failure, and it's finally that these elected morons are finally.
I think did she not also vacate some convictions
possibly
for
yeah.
marijuana possession? I think she
yeah.
did.
I'll post it in the comments. I dug up the article. There's a couple articles out there. Reason Magazine just posted one. I think we posted it in our chat, but I'll post it in the comments so those that are listening want to check it out. But so Harford County is just north of Baltimore. It's up 95, and it's kind of like it's weird. Like Maryland, it's like I think we could all agree like Maryland's like 5 states in one.
Pretty much.
It's kind of like multiple. It's like multiple. You get closer to DC. It's like I don't know, very diverse, but also very statist, but also very like
Very
different
rich, affluent.
economic-
It's just
Yeah,
it's just
different.
all lawyers, politicians. It's really the worst place in the
Yeah,
world.
It's a big,
but then
it's a
you
big
got-
old
but then you
social
have
economic
the-
train getting ran on Maryland. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Right, and then you have Baltimore, which is like it's becoming regentrified in most neighborhoods, but then most neighborhoods are left far behind because of the drug war and the police state and the economics of a lot of the manufacturing and all the jobs that Trump's going to supposedly bring back are way fucking gone and have been gone for years, and you get it's and then you go further north and it's like country bumpkin, but also people that commute to the city that have all the good jobs, but then commute to their little little cul-de-sac enclaves with their McMansions and everything.
Yeah,
And they got their
basically the worst people.
yeah. They got their 5-car 3-car.
By worst, I mean boring.
They got a nice house in the Susquehanna and shit.
Yeah, they got a boat. They got maybe 2 boats. They're working for Northrop Grumman or some fucking military contractor. And making boatloads of money.
Yeah, there's a lot of government employees.
And
in
there were
Maryland.
government
So many.
employees, and they don't live in the city, and they're completely fucking they're completely disconnected from real life.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Baltimore to them, and they're like, "Ugh."
Oh my
I would
god!
never go there.
Oh,
Except for an Orioles
I
game.
went to an Orioles game, and oh my god, I felt so unsafe. Like you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Like you're a fucking idiot. Like oh my god, I went to the Inner Harbor at the touristy McTouristy place. And they're like, I felt so unsafe. There was some black kid that came up that wanted to wash my windows for $1, and I felt like they're fucking cucks. Like they're like, it's like Jesus Christ. Like welcome to the city,
Dude,
like,
but good.
life.
I want these people to be scared off.
Yeah,
I
like,
want
get
them
the
to
fuck
not
out of
live there.
here. Like I don't want you and your fucking Uggs and your goddamn fucking get the fuck out of here.
Your fucking
Like,
Uggs
I
and
don't
your
know. Like it's just like they're just like awful human beings. But anyways, but
401k.
in that, well, not all of them, but let's put it this way: it's the mindset where it's like, oh my God, you step foot in Baltimore City, you're gonna get murdered. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. You're fucking retarded.
Nah, you're just gonna
You're-
get jumped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
But you know,
yeah.
carry a knife, you'll be fine.
Yeah, but their whole mindset is
That'll
like,
be so safe.
the sheriff in that county. The sheriff in that county basically doubled down on marijuana, even though in the state of Maryland it's medicinally legal, and I don't know why that it's not recreationally.
I think Vibe said
legal.
there's like a bunch of distilleries up there.
Or
Distilleries?
Or not,
distilleries.
I think the word's
got alcohol in the
I
brain.
think-
There's weed in them hills.
There's weed in that
Yeah,
whiskey.
I think it's dispensaries.
dispensaries. Hey, anybody can do this sober, all right?
But no, there are medicinal dispensaries. But the sheriff up there in Harford County like doubled down, like I
love that
I'm
crazy
gonna
dude.
arrest you, and it's like you fucking dumbass. This only pertains to Baltimore City, like it doesn't pertain to like like a bunch of privileged white kids in your like cul-de-sac McMansion, like Bel Air.
Okay,
know?
you've said that word twice, so we could probably retire it for the night.
We could, but it doesn't pertain. But it's just the fact that like you have law enforcement still
I'm an
doubling,
asshole.
like doubling down on like the war on weed. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's like get the fuck over it already.
So
Like,
wait, he was like, don't worry, everybody. I'm still gonna prosecute.
I'm still gonna arrest them. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna round them up and lock them up.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, no, you. First of all, no, you're not, because
This is Baltimore City.
you're talking about like Aberdeen proving grounds. It's like
Yeah,
fucking number one. It's like it's just military contractor city.
Oh,
you know?
all up
like,
there, man. It's all
good.
contractors.
Episode
It's all-
200.
No,
Come on,
it is
dude.
episode 200.
It's episode 200. Come on, bro.
It's
Gotta
all
take a
it's all
rip ski.
people that work for the military-industrial complex. So anyway, speaking of weed, but I would partake. But
Hey man, they ain't gonna
I can't-
prosecute me.
yeah.
Although this is not Baltimore City, but it's close enough.
Dude, you got the Jew card, dude. It's everywhere. It's everywhere you want to blaze.
You got
true, dude.
so many
It's true,
you
I'll
got
just
so many
say.
lawyers.
I just
lining
throw
up.
on my Jewish star, my Magen David.
Temple.
Yep. But yeah, so I guess that's a step in the right direction in Baltimore City.
No, it's good. It's surprising, to be honest. 'Cause
yeah.
Well,
they've been just running that drug war hard there. I mean, it's
it's
completely.
crumbling, man.
They've been running a train on the drug war.
I mean, it's
to
been a
quote
battle.
Acacia Cortez.
Honestly, I view Baltimore City as like a battle between like capitalism, which is like saving it to a degree, but also ruining it a little bit, and then just government, just like bad, corrupt government. It's
Oh.
like this battle that's just waging a war.
It's corrupt Democrats have been in place that are just like these, and I watched this clip from
you
Malcolm
can just
X
say
recently.
government, though. You don't really have to say bad or corrupt. That's just kind of a,
That's just
Yeah,
yeah,
that
kind of
comes
a
with
given,
it.
dude.
That's implied.
That just comes
It's
along.
kind of like just wasting
But
everybody's
dude,
time.
they're like these fake
Terms of
ass. They're
services.
these like fake ass fucking liberals that claim to be progressive, but they don't see like what's in front of them. Like the war on drugs is ultimately what is killing the city of Baltimore. You wonder why there's like 300 plus murders a year. You wonder why there's so many
Yeah.
gangs. You wonder why like that. It's just.
and then they have these
you wonder
fucking
why there's
meetings
so
where they're
many-
like, "Oh, a meeting to stop gun violence," and you're
Right.
like, "Fuck off, dude."
yeah, get the
like-
fuck out of here.
Like if you're not talking about
Like these gun
any
buyback
sort of
programs,
decriminalization or
legalization or criminal justice
or
reform.
yeah, criminal justice or any of that, like then to just fuck yourself. Okay?
Exactly. They're
wanna
fake
hear
ass
about it.
fucking liberals. And I
Yeah.
watched this clip, and this one person I follow on Instagram posted it. It was a Malcolm X quote, and basically he's like, "Be wary of like fucking fake ass liberals, like the fake And he was equating it to like, all right, wolves or like wolves and foxes. Like foxes will come at the sheep, but you don't like the sheep don't know like. You know what I mean? But they're wary of the wolves
'Cause they know
He's
what
like
the
the
wolves
wolves are, but he's like the foxes. You have to be careful of. And basically, so in this video that
Wolves
he
are
put
Republicans.
that he
I got
played
it.
the wolves. Yeah, it's like these
Democrats
are
are foxes.
the Democrats are they're gonna play. They're gonna like play to your
They're gonna appeal to your emotions.
exactly, and they're gonna like hey, and they just perpetuate like, hey, you know, like, oh, these fucking you know, it's like, you know, they're just fucking sellouts. They don't fuck.
Yeah.
They're not your ally. They're not your friend. Like Malcolm X is like, they're not your allies. They're not your friends. They don't understand your experience. They don't understand where you're coming from. Like, you need to shun them, and you need to be wary of them to infiltrating. Because and I was like, God damn. And because look at all these fucking fake ass fucking, like, you know, look at all these.
Would you say NPCs?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, I mean, just yeah, exactly. NPCs, or you look at prominent black, quote unquote, activists like Al Sharpton, fucking Jesse
Sean
Jackson.
King's a white activist. So
Sean, well, he's fuck that guy. But you know what I mean? Like all these fake motherfuckers that basically are not getting to the crux of the problem, which is the drug war. Is like they're not getting to the root cause of the problem.
Are you familiar with D-Ray?
Oh,
He ran for mayor.
That's a guy in Chicago.
No, he's Baltimore.
Oh, in Baltimore? Yeah.
Yeah, he ran for mayor.
D-raise these nuts.
Doesn't work there. Doesn't really work there.
Sense, dude.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
I get it.
A little.
Hey.
I heard about.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Right?
okay, go on.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. No, he was I disagree with him on a lot of things. He's very much an SJW, very much like an identity politics guy.
That's the thing.
But he does recognize he's not necessarily a fan of like Democrats. Like he recognizes the issues that are actually taking place in Baltimore as far as like the drug war and you know cops and shit like that. Like
it's like the quote unquote liberal like limousine liberals. You know, they're just like the fake. They're just fucking.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He's not. Yeah. He's not one of those. But I'm saying there. Yeah. So there is those for sure.
But I think what's get lost is it's like, you know, you get into these identity politics and SJW shit.
There are those.
There are those.
There are those.
There are those. There are those.
So that anyways, just kind of circling back, like this is a step in the right direction where they're actually identifying like a problem. Like, hey, we're gonna stop prosecuting this shit. I hope they even take it a step further and be like, hey, guess what? Heroin's legal.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what
Fucking
they just
like,
announced today.
Just do it. Like,
That's hard. That's hard for these people to do.
Well, they just announced
What
it
you
today.
mean, these people?
Yeah, they announced it today that Denver finally got enough signatures and everything for decriminalized Denver. So the issue of psilocybin mushrooms are going to be on the ballot for legalization for recreational magic mushrooms is going to be on the ballot next time.
Man, I think
Dude,
we're
I'm
living in the wrong state.
I think we're moving to Colorado.
I'm telling you, man, this is all shit's crumbling down, and it's most of it's because of research that's done here in Johns Hopkins. So, as the Mises Caucus, like they
There's
want to
also
be all
maps.
behind it.
There's also maps.
Yeah, so
Maps.
The multidisciplinarian,
dude,
blah blah blah, something. But it's like a drug research organization.
Well, Phil, my dick was about to talk about the Mises Caucus.
Where are you?
What? He just said, "Fill my dick," and I was.
I did. Yeah, you caught that.
Wait, the Mises Caucus.
Yes, so
Okay.
they want to back like initiatives like this, where it's like you see that the dominoes are falling around, and it's just not working. I mean, you're losing this war coming up in 50 years of just bullshit and countless lives, and like I know a bunch of cops I personally in my life, and some of them have told me like they're very libertarian on all issues except for marijuana because literally they come out and said, "Well, that's how I get all my arrests." I get my that's how I get in. That's how I'm able to put these guys away. I can't catch them for murder for this, but I can bring them in for weed, and then we can that opens the door for us to get them charged on other charges. And I'm like, well, do your job better, like do a better job. And you know, this just frees up police officers to investigate actual crimes and actual things that are hurting other people. And so it's like the more you take off that you know that a police officer can investigate you for, or like the tint of your window and just everything else they can get on you for. Like there was a video I just saw today of this cop. He was like, so he pulled someone over and this guy just like pulled in a random house's driveway. It's just some random guy. So the guy who owned the house or whatever, who lived in the house, he came out and was just filming this police officer who was like, had this guy pulled over for, you know, on his motorcycle. And he's just filming him from his front porch. The police officer stops what he's doing, comes over to the guy and arrests the guy for filming him.
At his own house.
In his own house.
Damn.
And he was like a former, and it's crazy. I posted this in the group.
Where did this happen?
I don't know exactly. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. I know. It was like in Oakland, like the Oakland area.
Oh,
And,
California. Okay.
This
Makes
police
sense.
officer was. There was also a story. I don't know if you guys saw this video of a police officer who was. I guess he was off duty, and the video starts. He's pointing his gun at this guy, and apparently he walked past him, and he just like looked at this citizen, just like looked at this guy who was actually an undercover or not under. I'm sorry, like just off duty police officer, and the guy said like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" or something like that. And so the police eventually ends up. The police officer just pulls out his gun. Doesn't say he's a police officer. He just pulls out his gun on this guy.
Holy shit.
And there's a video of this whole thing goes down, and he starts. And the guy's like, "What the fuck?" Like he doesn't say he's a cop. He just has his gun pointed at him. And then eventually, other police come and they tackle this dude. And this guy just starts punching this dude in the face and slamming his head into the concrete. And apparently, it's the same cop. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize it's the same cop, and he's still on the job right now as we speak. He's right now.
The same cop as what?
The same cop from the other story I just told you about. He pulled over this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and then he just ended up arresting the person who was on the property.
Okay, so ordinarily we would be ending the podcast right now, but I wanted to talk about like another topic that's kind of like on my mind.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And
Dicks.
No. So okay, yesterday Steven Kinsella posted a picture on Facebook of him wearing a MAGA hat, and he was just like I don't want to like quote him because I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was just like hardy har har, you know. I'm doing this as an I'm doing this because I love freedom, and it's an exercise of free speech, and it's just like so. Then I commented on it, and I was just like, you know, you've got to remember, you know, make America great again. What are you saying? Because it's like, to what point? Because when you think about it, you know, like 50, 60 years ago, even there were laws in the books that
Black
and
white people couldn't eat the same water.
People of color didn't have the same freedoms as people who were white. So, I mean, if you're saying that you want to take America back to that, and that's when America was great, it's really not libertarian.
But is that what the hat says? Is that what the hat means, though?
Well, what does "Make America Great Again" mean? I mean, what is it? What does it sound like? And then
sounds like political jargon.
I think it's a
nothing.
stupid small catchphrase.
Like America's in a like, what I think he's trying to mean with that is like, so, you know, the jobs are gone, right? The manufacturing jobs are gone. We need to bring that shit back, which obviously is fucking fake rhetoric.
Okay. Well, I don't want to sound like a total, you know, liberal cocksucker here. I'm just
late.
I'm yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, it's not fair to necessarily say like that's what that hat means per se.
No,
you know?
I'm not saying everybody that wears that hat is racist. I'm not saying everybody that voted for Trump is racist. I think that's like totally fucking weak, and I argue that shit all day anytime somebody says it. You know,
Right.
Only if it was an officially licensed MAGA hat. Because we know how he
Now-
is with the whole IP.
Now, are some of those people racist? Sure. I mean, actually, some of the people that voted for Hillary are racist too. You know.
Yeah, that is
I
true.
mean, it's you know,
Going
Hillary.
back to topic number one.
Yeah, Hillary's always endorsed the drug war, which is, you know, famous for you know, putting
Bill
putting people of color in prison at a rate higher than people who were white. So
the incarceration rate of minorities increased far more with Clinton in office than
okay, but I mean, you can say that about Hillary, but you can also say that about a bunch of Republican candidates.
Exactly.
It's everybody. Everybody's loved the drug war for years and years and years. You know.
Same.
I think it's
difference.
a vague political statement.
Yeah, it is. It's a vague statement, but if you think about it for more than 2 seconds and your brain doesn't explode, if you can handle that, you're going to think about like, well, you know, just 50, 60 years ago, you know, blacks didn't have the same freedom as whites. So
is it so are you okay?
I mean,
Sorry,
so I mean, the further you go back, you know, the country actually allowed slavery. Is that what was great? I mean,
I think it's important not to assume how far back to go with that. I think this is, I mean, seriously.
Make America Great Again to like like 2000 to 2008.
Make America great again to
or what?
1980. Make America
or
great
maybe- or
great again to
1776.
2000, or you know what I mean. Like there could be anywhere you could
Or
go
like-
back to. Where when does he think is great?
Maybe like
He'll never
prehistoric
answer
times.
that
Maybe he's
question.
into dinosaurs,
That's just
bro.
a slogan,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's like,
So-
yeah.
It's just that MAGA
Alex doesn't
is
believe
just
in
Donald
dinosaurs,
Trump's slogan, and that
Okay,
you know
okay,
what I mean.
Okay, but I'm just saying for people of color, you've got to acknowledge that if you go back 60 years, they're not going to have the same fucking rights.
It's true, but
Same with
Yeah.
the women. Same with women.
the statement is certainly vague, and it's certainly.
it's just vague political jargon.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can't. You
okay.
can't say when. You can't
Yeah,
say like
you
what
can't
is he
imply that.
specifically talking about.
Okay. I'm look, once again.
It's like
once
United
once
We
again,
Stand
like
after
I'm
9/11.
not.
Hold on,
I'm not.
shh,
I'm
everybody,
not saying
one
that
at a time.
everybody. I'm not saying that everybody who wears the hat is racist.
I know. Yeah.
I do think that everybody that wears the hat should probably think about that and maybe second guess their reason for wearing that hat. Maybe.
I think they look at
or
it-
maybe it is. It's just.
But
It's just saying
what
you like
about
Donald
hope?
Trump.
What about hope? Like, what
Yeah,
about
hope?
Obama's hope? Is it like,
Hope.
do we hope for fucking black and white water fountains again? Is that the hope? Like,
No,
like
it's well,
you can frame it in any way you want.
I guess, but
But I think
I
there's something
think
inherently
you're
specific.
jumping a little bit more with,
Yeah,
with, like,
yeah.
with the
Jumping
hope, because
more,
the
yeah.
hope. I saw hope and I just thought, oh, this is very vague. Hope for what?
But think
I mean, that is what I thought. But with Make America Great Again, it's like, well, you go back a few years and there was some fucked up shit going on. You
Look
know,
at after
and
9/11.
like I'll give America plenty of props. For creating the freest place in the world up to that point. 1776 was pretty bold. The founder said a lot of great things. My favorite founder was Thomas Paine. Was listened to some stuff about him earlier this week. He was actually against the Revolutionary War if it was going to be fought offensively. Like he was only about defense. The dude was like mad, like principled,
very
anti-war. Yeah, he's a fucking awesome dude. So and I think there's a lot of great things about America. I'm not like totally ripping on America, but at the same time,
If you don't like
at
it,
the
you
same
can just
time-
get out, Matt.
well,
yeah.
at the
you
same
don't
time,
fucking kneel
You
for
can
that.
just
flag.
get out.
okay. At the same time, affirmative action, it's fucked up. Because it's being done on the basis of race. Therefore, I would say it's racist.
Right.
Well, that was. So we're going to make America great before then, but prior to the Vietnam War, but after the Civil Rights Movement, but before.
What's the thing?
Like,
There was
that's the
never.
thing, like,
there's
it's
never
just-
a time where like
We were ever
everything
great.
about America was great. There were certain things that were great.
Okay. Like,
You know?
is there any part of you that would want to wear a MAGA hat?
No,
Okay. Well, why? To tell me. Is it
because
of
I
like
don't.
what I
su-
just said? Or?
No, because I don't support Donald Trump.
Okay, there's multiple facets.
It's really
to
that's
that
it. I mean, it's
self-preservation.
Yeah.
Like-
well, okay, yeah. There are certainly
Because
other
there's-
reasons, but the main reason is like I don't want.
Self-respect.
I don't. It is a Donald Trump slogan. I don't support Donald Trump in general. Do I support some of his actions? Yeah, sure. Anything that's anti-war, pro or anti-drug war. Yeah, I support all that.
Yeah, that, or trigger.
Jared,
But I'm not going to wear a
Jared,
MAGA hat because of that.
Jared,
I'm
if
just
you
going to
were-
say
You got the Jew card, man. Like you could pull the Jew card. None
I don't
of
need
us,
to pull the
none
Jew
of us.
card.
None of us.
I don't
like,
feel the
you
need
know.
to wear a MAGA hat. Like
But I mean, if you
I wouldn't
did,
wear any.
though-
Like I wouldn't even wear like. Oh, I did wear a Ron Paul shirt, but that's because Ron
Fuck yeah,
Paul's
dude!
the
I
shit,
rock.
though.
I was debating on rocking Ron Paul swag tonight, but
Yeah.
I mean, but that's because he's the truth. But
That's the only politician that I would ever wear anything by.
Okay, but
At least
listen-
right now, unless someone
Yeah.
better than Ron Paul comes around.
why? And it's
Why is this
highly-
coming
Okay.
to me?
I don't think
It's coming to me.
Oh,
But I don't think.
But no. Like, let me. Okay, so this is a multifaceted question because you got to think about the way MAGA hats are being portrayed now. There's been an article that I saw, and I think like 2 weeks ago was put out, was saying, "Is the MAGA hat the new, hood?"
Jesus
Clan
fucking
hood.
Christ.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
And so that's the perception of it. It's perception of
That
racism
is-
in the
that
leftist
is
media.
it's totally ridiculous.
It is.
Totally.
It's ridiculous.
They're
But
trying
at the
to
same
spark a
time,
race
though,
war
think
so
about
hard
think
right
about the indoctrination we all had as kids growing up, thinking America was we won World War I, World War II. America's great in this and this and this and all the American exceptionalism that we heard growing up. That's kind of what Donald Trump was saying, trying to resonate some type of emotion and with some of his constituents that, like, look, I want to make America have that same feeling that America was great. We don't have to apologize for what we did and acknowledge all the awful things that we did because we did do them, type of thing. I would never wear a Make America Great Again hat for a multitude of reasons. But mostly it's just because I don't support Donald Trump. I don't think I don't think it's the new hood of the Klan. At the same time, though, people think that. People think that, and they would treat me like that.
I don't either.
I would get Richard Spencered in the street if I wore something like that. So I would never wear something like that.
I don't either,
and I think that's sad.
Either. But a lot of people that I've talked to have just had the response like, "When was America great?" And it's you can name some ways that America was great. I think you could name a lot of ways that America was great, but then you can name some ways that America fucked up big time. And you got to know the truth before you say that you've got pride, my friend.
Ooh, but also think about it this way though: like, why do you have to even speak for America?
How
Just
do I?
Because you happen to live within like a continental
okay.
piece of fucking like platelet that moved, you know what I mean? Like,
okay, so I'm not speaking for anybody but me.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying my mind is made up on things, because I like having these conversations. It's kind of like I love having like four other heads to bounce ideas off of.
I mean, I would just like I just feel like I can only really speak for me and my friends and my family. You know, like we're pretty great. Like, we're pretty good people. Like, I can't really help what the fucking president does. I can't help what the government does. I can't even help what like the neighbor next door to me does.
You couldn't even stop Phil for breaking a chair. Yeah,
I can't even stop Phil from like. I mean, I let him have a slice of pizza earlier.
You let me.
Okay. So
get in between Phil and a piece of pizza.
All right,
I let you guys have some pizza.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna continue this party on the after hours.
Oh,
and,
fuck yeah!
We're gonna get deep in the docks.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for listening. And if you want to join the Patreon, you can join us over on after hours.
Dude, just $1. Just $1.
As little as $1 a month.
Fucking dollar.
Yeah,
One Federal
Reserve
Reserve
help us keep this
4 quarters.
Give us $5 a month.
Until next time, live free
or die.
Or die.
I got it.
Nailed it.
Hold on.
All right.
We're still live on
So
some of this.
Damn,
stuff.
I was
We're
gonna
still live,
ask Matt.